Hey everyone, it's Fox. Hope you're all doing well and staying safe and cozy. Before I get into the video, I just want to thank you all for the support, the views, and new subscribers. Thank you everyone. I've wondered since it's been over a year since I've uploaded anything to the channel if anyone would look at it or even come to the channel when they got notified. But you guys did, and I do truly appreciate it, so thanks. Now, without further ado, here's my storytime video, leaving my job for mental health reasons. The story begins in 2019 when I was job searching and applied for many positions while in college. I really wanted a job that involved graphic design or print design since I was pursuing a graphic design and media arts degree. Now, for safety reasons, I won't say where I worked at exactly, but just know that it's a well-known retail store. Anyway, I found the job listing, looked over what kind of job it was and what types of duties, responsibilities it entailed. It was a part-time position, which meant flexibility and time management, which was very important to me as a college student. I updated my resume, had someone from my school's career center look it over, and then applied. It didn't take long, but I did get a response and was asked to come in for an interview. I thought, great. I went and bought some nice interview clothes with money I got from financial aid. I then printed out 2 versions of my resume, a standard one and a design one. Side note, here's a tip for all you design students out there who are looking for work. Use the standard resume format when applying online so the ATS or application tracking system can probably pick up terms and keywords. Using this resume format will lessen the chances of your application getting rejected because the ATS can't distinguish the design elements of fancier fonts, headers, and more that you would normally find in a design-based resume, and save the design-based resume for your in-person interview. Okay, a little sidetrack there. Back to the story. So after getting my outfit together and resumes printed, I prepped for the actual interview. I did well despite being nervous, and a few days later I heard back saying they wanted to hire me and start the onboarding process. That meant doing a background check, which of course I passed. After the store manager and supervisors were given the green light, they called me in and told me, hey, you can come in on this day at this time. I'll be honest, I really enjoyed my job during my first year. I got to meet and work with some awesome people. The customers for the most part were lovely, and I liked assisting them when they needed help. I learned a lot while working there too. Things like operating a cash register, using a wide format printer, different laminations and bindings. I also learned how to make stamps, printing business cards, booklets, and more. As someone who has an anxiety disorder, I was very nervous at first and felt terrible when I did make mistakes. But I had a team of people who assured me that I would make mistakes, and that's okay. My supervisors would back me up whenever I got stuck, whether that was forgetting how to scan blueprints, creating job tickets, or answering customer questions. Now, as much as I've given my job and the people I've worked with praise and enthusiasm, here's where all the positives stop and the negatives begin. As I've mentioned, the first year at the store was good. However, it was during year 2 when things started to change, and not for the better. During this time, we were further into the global issue, ending in 2 digits. You know, the one with the name that combines with an alcoholic drink and bug. Yeah, that. Anyway, the higher-ups decided that in order to save money, since money wasn't really being made, there had to be cuts made. What kind of cuts? Mostly management in the part of retail I worked in. Not only did my store lose a manager for the printing department, but a lot of stores across the board did as well. There were even store closings throughout the country. Not only were managers let go, but there were coworkers who began leaving. I won't go into specifics, but it was due to either being stressed out and frustrated, or for other job opportunities. It was understandable, actually. Eventually, I would start to feel the stress and burnout due to having less staff, and the workload became heavier. In the beginning, we had about 8 to 10, probably more people in our department. Over time, it dwindled down to about 3 to 4 staff members. During the day, there would be 2 people there to operate the department. Then a closing person would come in and do the remainder 4 to 5 hours of the day by themselves. And that closing person was me. Now, you would think, since it's closing, that things wouldn't be very hectic since it's the evening time and most people would be heading home from work or school, trying to wind down after having a busy day. But that isn't necessarily the case. Oftentimes, customers would come in wanting a lot of printing done, having questions about our services, needing help at the self-printing area, wanting to ship things off, and more. Also, keep in mind, these things would happen all at once. I've had really bad anxiety attacks because of the workload. I'd go to the back area to cry and let it all out. I'd ask customers to be patient since I was the only person working in my department and had to man 3 stations by myself. For the most part, customers were quite understanding and even sympathetic, and there were the occasional impatient jerks who felt that they shouldn't have to wait and demanded to be assisted right away. Eventually, I became very burnt out and even snippy, telling those particular customers they can go elsewhere since they couldn't wait. I was just so tired and exhausted. Every time I came back home from work, like a coping mechanism, I'd cry myself to sleep. And knowing that the next day I'd have to go into work, I'd either wake up with a terrible tension headache or cry it out before getting ready to head out. This behavior, this cycle, wasn't normal. I had spoken with family, friends, and both my therapist and my psychiatrist about how I was feeling at work and what my anxiety was doing to my body. Everyone shared the same sentiment. You really need to leave that place. It seems really toxic and unhealthy for you. I need to run. So I did. In June 2021, I started to look for other job opportunities. I checked LinkedIn, Glassdoor, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed. I was hoping for an opportunity that allowed me to use my graphic design skill set to the fullest, with the work being remote only or a hybrid model. I wanted to take a break from customer interaction, if not altogether, at least dealing with it on a much smaller scale. I had applied for several hundred design positions, interviewed for a handful of them, and only heard back from a couple of them. To be fair, the job market was absolutely awful. Not only was I competing with other recent graduates, but with seasoned design veterans too. But I wouldn't let these number games get me down. Eventually, I got lucky, and a potential employer reached out to me on Indeed with a job opportunity he felt I'd be a great fit for. Once again, I won't name any employers, but this person was awesome. It's hard to explain, but I can tell after message exchanges on Indeed that he had a good manager energy. We scheduled a time to speak on the phone, where he asked some more questions about my skill set and job experiences. I was also able to ask questions about the position, what software and processes they used in the company. After the talk, he said he'd talk with the team, finish the other interviews that were scheduled for the week, and would get back to me by Monday should they move forward with my application. I felt good about the interview. However, I needed to distract myself so I didn't become anxious. I made it a point to move in silence and not mention the job interview to anyone at the job, at least not right away. I didn't know if management would let me go immediately or start to pick at every little thing I did if they knew. This was probably my worries kicking up, but I've learned from watching how certain people moved at the store that sabotage was quite possible. I'll only say that much. Monday rolls around, and I get a call back from the potential employer, where he told me they wanted to hire me, but needed 3 references that he'd speak with briefly. Cool beans. I already had my 3 references in mind and texted all 3 immediately explaining what I was doing. They all agreed to vouch for me, and I gave them his name and number so they knew this was the person and the number you should be looking out for. I would say before the day was out, the employer had reached out to all 3 references and got back to me saying, "Alright, I spoke with all 3 people. You're good to go. I'll email you all the documents and show you the systems we use for our company." And I thanked him and said I looked forward to working with him and the team. Now, the position wasn't permanent, but it had all the things I was looking for, and it was a breath of fresh air from what I was dealing with at my current place of work. The next few steps were crucial because I didn't want to burn bridges with my job, just in case I wanted to come back at a later point. Also, there are people still there who I want to keep in touch with. One of my coworkers, she's a cashier there. She's my homegirl. She's amazing, the bee's knees, the goat. If you're watching this video, just know that I love and appreciate you so damn much. She was a major support system at my job and the first person I told the news to. We both got a bit emotional because we wouldn't see each other at work, but I told her that I'd be down anytime, any day to hang out. If she needed someone to vent to, a shoulder to cry on, someone to key a car. Wait, I'm just kidding. Or am I? I would be there for her like she was there for me. Period. After telling her, I went to the store manager and handed in my 2 weeks notice. I had mentioned that I was going to be starting a new job that had more of the things I needed. However, the bigger reason for my departure was because of my mental health suffering. I remember feeling very nervous because I didn't know if he'd be upset or dismissive. But he actually took it well. He understood that my mental health mattered more than this job, and even said I could come back if I wanted to because I was such a great worker. I told him maybe in the future, after I focused more on myself and saw where this new opportunity took me, that I may come back, better and stronger. Who knows? I then told my supervisors and then the rest of the store. Now, most people would be like, screw that 2-week notice crap, today would be my last day. And yeah, I could have taken that route, but I wanted to be professional through and through. I may even come back at some point for an extra stream of income, which I ultimately did about 3 months later. And that is the story behind me leaving my job for mental health reasons. Though the other reason was for another job opportunity, it was mostly because my anxiety was getting to the best of me. I was becoming physically sick some days and I honestly needed a break from it all. I came back to it in September 2021 and I may dip out again since not much has changed. Well, that's not completely true. I am doing 3 days a week versus before when I did 4 to 5 day schedules. Other things that have changed were more people leaving, either out of frustration or other job opportunities, and we now have new staff, systems, and processes. So I'm making parts of my job even more difficult now. But anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in for my first ever Storytime video. I started working on this video in July last year. And it took so long because I was focused on this new job. Took a creative break, went back to the old job, and now the new job has come to an end. I have more free time now and I plan to use it to create more content here as well as do more self-care for myself. If you like what you saw, consider giving this video a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my content, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. That's all for now. This is Fox, and I'll see you all next time. Take care and remember to stay creative.